Hello and welcome to Subway NIBFA today. I'm Barry Green. This is show 2 of 2018 and on the way we've got 4 National League matches from the past fortnight. We'll also bring you news of the presentation of December's Goal of the Month competition. And of course you still have time to enter our new competition. You can win one of 3 3-month passes for the Hilton Living Well Health Club at Temple Patrick, so stay tuned for that. Today we'll be joined by former Coleraine and Cliftonville player Barry Johnson. Barry is now in charge of Cliftonville's under-18 side and he'll be casting his expert eye over the 4 featured games. First up, we go to Crumlin Leisure Centre for an under-15B match that features leaders Rosario and Lurgan Town. Rosario were out to register another 3 points in their quest for the title. Could they get them? Let's find out. Rosario in the black and white colours took on Lurgan Town in yellow in the National League Under-15B section in Crumlin, looking to extend their lead at the top of the current league table. The Belfast side were first to mount a serious attack, with the influential John Joe McDonald picking out Rory McCann, who couldn't quite connect with this cross. McDonald was involved again just 4 minutes later. This time he picked out the run of Johnny Doyle. Unfortunately, Doyle couldn't find the target. Lurgan Town's Daniel Pepper sized up this free kick, with Craig McCorry failing to trouble Oisin Tracy as the game remained scoreless. And as half-time beckoned, Rhys Heron's mistake almost led to Doyle breaking the deadlock. The Rosario player, though, couldn't quite squeeze the ball home from this angle. Rosario were in the ascendancy by now and an opener looked ever more likely. Patrick Donaldson went past his marker, but again the finishing from McCann was wayward. When Rosario did manage to go in front, McDonald was again involved. He cut the ball back to Finn Ogilby to slot home into the bottom corner. Drew mostly to the run. Decent finish. That came after 34 minutes, and at last the Rosario pressure had paid off. Into the second half, and Lurgan hit back almost immediately. Tenacious work out on the left flank by Rhys Emerson brought about the chance for Daniel Pepper, and he composed himself before making it 1 apiece. Another decent finish, that one, into the roof of the net. Town keeper Rhys Heron then produced 3 quality saves in quick succession to ensure his side stayed level, firstly from Ogilby. That was from point blank range, then from Karabakaj, and finally to keep out McCann. Oisin Tracy in Rosario's goal then handled outside his area. Giving away the free kick. Niall Dummigan lifted it, unfortunately for his team, wildly over the crossbar. Rosario had the chance to take all 3 points right at the end, but somehow they contrived to miss that chance, and it ended Rosario 1, Lurgan Town 1. Well, I'm delighted to say I've been joined by a man who excelled as a holding midfielder for Cliftonville in 3 separate spells with the Reds. He's currently coaching the under-18s at Solitude. Barry Johnson, thanks for joining us today.
No problem, Barry.
Barry, you were last turning out for Carrick Rangers in the Irish League a couple of seasons ago. Are you still playing football?
No, I'm done. I've had enough. Barry just gave up, basically, to be honest. We got too slow. Young lads are too fast now, so.
That's it. Must be pushing 40 now, are you?
Yeah. The wrong side of 30.
Yeah.
I'm the wrong side of 30.
Well, I mean, you've been involved in football for a long time, so was it the obvious route then to take to go into coaching, because you are involved with Cliftonville's under-18s?
Yeah, well, I'm sure all the managers that have played under will tell you that I used to torture them. You know, God love Tommy Breslin at his head pickled, you know, asking questions about this and that, and coaching methods and coaching styles, and playing with Shamrock Rovers, you know, under Michael O'Neill and stuff. Got to learn a lot of him, you know, watching his coaching methods, what way he put things across. So it's just something I was interested in, something that you know, I would like to think I'd be good at. So I decided to give it a crack, and through Nigel Bass, Sean Paul Murray at the IFA, and Alan Nixon, they're putting on unbelievable, you know, coaching weeks for players, and you know, anyone wants to get involved in coaching. to go and learn and see how far they can go, and it's unbelievable.
In terms of our first match then this week, Rosario's draw with Lurgan Town, Rosario dominated that game, but they just couldn't take their chances, could they?
No, it was just a wee lack of composure in front of goal. Great build-up play, you know, through ball played from the back, through midfield, and it's you know, outweighed the wingers. And to be fair, the wingers are playing with their heads up, picking good passes, but just one of those days maybe for a forward, you know, at least they're hitting the target. Well, some hit the target, but it's just maybe a composure, an extra touch, and maybe a tap in.
When Lurgan brought it back to one apiece then, there were 3 fantastic saves, all in the one move from their goalkeeper, Rhys Heron. That was top quality goalkeeping, wasn't it? Oh,
unbelievable from the kid. A lot of bravery too. I think 2 of those saves were point blank.
That's right.
And it takes, you know, courage to go down when a ball's coming at you fast, and a player's running in fast. Maybe, you know, you can turn your head, you can, you know, basically get scared, and you know, you're letting your team down. But fair play to him, he done well, and he was bombarded, but 3 great saves.
Good point that for Lurgan, who remained 3rd from bottom, whilst Rosario still occupied top spot. News of our new competition now. You still have time to enter. Our sponsor Subway, in conjunction with Hilton Livingwell Health Club Temple Patrick, are offering us a fantastic new prize for 2018. We have 3 individual 3-month subscriptions to the Hilton Livingwell Health Club at Temple Patrick to give away. All you have to do to enter our competition is like and share it on our Exporte Facebook page and tag 5 friends in the comments section of the post. Full terms and conditions are on the post as well. Good luck with that. Now for a second game, we feature Rosario's under-15s. Again, having dropped points against Lurgan, as we've just seen, could they return to winning ways against Ridgeway Rovers at the weekend? Mark Wesley, watch this one.
Good evening everyone. Your action this evening provided by the under-15s of Rosario and Ridgeway Rovers. A mild evening with some light showers. We're pitchside from Seaview, the home of Crusaders. Rosario in blue attacking the goal to our left. Plenty of skill and show this evening with both sets of players prepared to get stuck in. Generally, the 3G pitch at Crusaders guaranteed to perform better than grass. However, some slipping this evening, and that could lead to errors. First opportunity fell to Rosario after good work, first from the number 10, then from Patrick Donaldson, who punted the ball forward, finding Johnny Doyle, and his excellent cross finding number 12 Finn Oglesby. 1-0. With further rain showers expected this evening, the conditions are set to deteriorate. Wasn't long before some slack defending from Emmett McGurn almost cost Rosario the lead. Ridgeway unable to find a way past a packed defence. The Ridgeway number 8, who first turns one way then the other before getting a shot away. And from the rebound, the ball eventually finding touch. Ridgeway were to get the ball past Oisin Tracy, and what a goal that would be. A block shot from Ben Hollinger eventually falling to Timmy Conway. After some fantastic footwork, he lobbed the ball over the keeper and into the back of the net. Another contender for goal of the month. Rosario were proving to be the more dominant side in the first half. Another chance from a corner falling to Donaldson, but his headed effort from close range not hitting the target. There were chances at both ends, and Ridgeway were able to mount a few chances of their own before half-time. Another long ball causing the Rosario defence some concern. Their goal scorer Conway, this time unable to capitalise. Rosario missed a chance to take the lead after some great football, playing their way forward from their own defence. Some neat interplay between number 10 and number 12 was to create a chance for Ben Jenkins. However, Ben just managed to send the ball straight over the bar from close range. A bit of a dreadful miss. The second half continued with pretty much the same passion as the first. A well-marked move down the Rosario right and a splendid cross from John Joe McDonald found the head of Johnny Doyle, and Rosario were back in front. And a header from point-blank range. Rosario, now well and truly in the driving seat, were getting themselves into more shooting positions. Johnny Doyle showing the Ridgeway defence a clean pair of heels before narrowly missing the net. Ridgeway were to get an equaliser. It was to come from a throw-in on the near side. Clever footwork again from Connolly, who picked a peach of a pass, finding number 3. Reese Worthington would slot the ball under the advancing Rosario keeper, who won't be happy with his mistake. A bit of stick, no doubt, from his friends. The game finishing Rosario 2, Ridgeway Rovers 2.
So Barry, the same story again for Rosario, who led twice in that game, but they could only manage a single point again. It must be frustrating for their players, in particular their management.
Yeah, not getting the win, definitely. But
Yeah.
see, to be fair to Rosario, the two games there, I kind of like the football they play. You know, they get it down. The players play with their heads up. They're taking it in the back foot, and they do look like they're playing nice, tidy football. So the manager's obviously doing something right, or the structures are right at the club. But again, just the finishing let them down. Another day they could have won that game.
Some decent goals, particularly the goal from Chimmy Kenway. Talk us through that.
That was a bit of class. He actually looks a decent prospect.
Yeah.
Very decent. He setting up the second one as well. You know, used his body well, got away from the fullback, and then again with his head up, you know, takes a time, takes an extra touch if he needs it, picks his pass, and maybe the goalkeeper's slightly disappointed. It seems right down his, you know, right down his throat really, but hits the ground. And I know the ground at CV when it's slightly wet, it's very fast, so that maybe could have had an influencing factor on him.
Yeah, and the goal though, the touch for the goal, the dink over the goalkeeper.
Oh, unbelievable! You
Quality.
know, great vision to see the keeper off his lane, and there were a couple of touches and then hitting it on the volley just over the head. You know, lovely.
It's bound to feature in our goal of the month for January, I would think.
I'd say it'd be up there.
Thanks, Barry. Well, despite their second draw in 2 matches, Rosario still are top of the table. Ridgeway, meanwhile, are 4 points further back in 3rd position. Now it's time for our halftime team talk feature, where we get hints and tips from our expert to improve your game. Barry, you're in the hot seat today. You now obviously have coaching experience to go with all that playing experience that you have. So some hints and tips for us for the up-and-coming aspiring footballer. What would you say to them?
It's about working hard. You know, sometimes I see a lot of kids with a lot of talent, a lot more talented than I ever was, but they feel like they're you know, they're entitled to a future in football, and it doesn't come like that. You really have to work at it every single day. You know, you got to do your extra. You got to get to the gym, do whatever you think is weak in your game. You've got to put extra hours in. You know, maybe I could have did a bit more on the shooting side, a lot of people will say, but unfortunately, you know, I always like to stay fit, you know, because I feel like if I could stay fit and cover ground, it would do me well. So I kind of worked on the fitness side of the game, doing extra.
Is there any real no-nos that you would say to a young player nowadays? No, don't get involved in that, or no, you know, don't take that on board because it definitely won't improve your game?
No, well, like I say, I think a lot of that has to do with the coaches. You know, it's what their coaches are telling them. It's going to, you know, affect them kids, how they're going to play the future. You know, their football's going to develop. You know, when they're in the Irish League or not in the Irish League, or what level they end up playing at. Young coaches of young teams have a lot of responsibility. Unfortunately, I'm at the under 18 level where I'm kind of preparing players more for, you know, first team.
Yeah.
So you're putting a lot of trust in the younger teams, you know, their managers, and hopefully, you know, like I say, with the IFA coaches, you know, the coaching courses, they're absolutely brilliant. If the coaches all take out of them what I took out of it, then certainly the future's bright for, you know, for football.
Would you be a great exponent then that, you know, it's all about the development of the player as opposed to winning at all costs?
Of course, listen, we all like to win, you know, everyone likes to win, but there comes a point that at what cost? You know, if a kid's just getting the ball and kicking it long and playing it up to maybe a 6-foot striker, you know, at under 14 or 15 level, it's not really football, is it? You know, getting the ball, kicking it long, and he's probably bigger than everyone else in the pitch, and he's, you know, flicking balls in there, and a keeper smaller on him. Whereas if they're playing the right way, you know, getting plenty of touches, getting their head up, taking it in the back foot, doing all the things that you're coached, you know, through the IFA, you're coach to coach. You know, I think it should be done that way. That's my opinion. You know, I do think it should be played. Football should be played on the ground. You know, expansive and telling kids to go and enjoy themselves.
In terms of your own career, then, what would you say is your career highlight?
Just winning 2 leagues with Cliftonville was absolutely unbelievable. Getting to play at Celtic in the Champions League was probably the best night, you know, in football that I've had. Obviously being a Celtic fan, but no, some brilliant memories. And again, just enjoyed playing football and getting to win stuff. You know, with the team you supported when you were a kid. Was just a bonus.
And you talked about playing under Michael O'Neill. I'm sure you're not surprised how well he's done in his management role at Northern Ireland.
He didn't play me too much, so that's probably, he's a good judge of character, good judge of player. But no, he was probably from playing under Michael O'Neill, that's that's probably a turning point when I realised the amount of preparation and the amount of work has to go into management. Managers I played under, it was very basic. It was, turn up, you're a good team, there's your formation, there's your set pieces. But under Michael O'Neill, he went into detail about every single player, who you were playing against. You knew where he was right-footed, left-footed, details like that, and it made such a difference. He was very, very good.
So in terms of your aspirations in coaching then, presumably you'd like to coach at as high a level as you can. Might that be at Cliftonville at some stage?
Well, we'll see. Barry's the boss, Barry Gray at the minute, and he's doing a good job. He's having to do a lot of hard work at the minute. Stevie Small's doing well, Harry Fay. So Cliftonville at the minute I think are in safe hands, but time will tell. I'm only starting out, it's a long journey, and I'm enjoying it at the minute, but God knows what's around the corner. I'll just see where it takes me.
Well, you're doing well to date, Barry. Thanks for the moment. You might remember from our last show, Stephen Small selected Ardoyne's Troy Canavan as the winner of the Subway NIBFA Goal of the Month for December. Caitlin McCoubry of Subway on the KFL Road met up with Troy and presented him with his award in his local Subway sandwich store last week. Well done again to Troy. Now it's time for our final two matches. Next up, it's Cliftonville's under-13s who took on Glenavon at Crumlin Leisure Centre. Johnny Martin is on commentary.
Cliftonville and Glenavon under-13s locked horns at Crumlin Leisure Centre, both teams in their familiar colours. That's Cliftonville in the red and Glenavon in the blue. The Lurgan Blues were the first to have a shot, however this long-range effort didn't trouble Ross Regan in the Cliftonville goal. Down at the other end, good midfield play from Ryan Barnes and Kenzie McMullen led to a good opportunity for Sean Moore, whose shot thundered against a crossbar. The North Belfast side were playing with confidence and took the lead in the 20th minute when Michael Morgan evaded the challenge of the goalkeeper and had the composure to put his side 1-0 ahead. 1-0 to Cliftonville. With the wind in their sails, Cliftonville almost made it 2-0 when Curtis Murphy cut inside from the left. However, his shot was saved by Dylan Brake. Into the second half with the Reds winning 1-0, and it was Cliftonville that started it brightly. A good cross from goal scorer Michael Morgan caused havoc in the Glenavon defence, but their keeper eventually gathered under pressure. The Cliftonville pressure continued and they deservedly doubled their lead when Stephen Bradley reacted quickest inside the box to pounce and fire into the bottom right corner. "2-0 almost became 3-0 and Stephen Bradley almost added to his tally, but Dylan Brake was kept busy and got down well to save. Most of the action in the second half was played inside the Glenavon half, and Cliftonville's front men were combining well, but couldn't add to the scoreline on this occasion. The Reds did eventually make it 3-0. O'Neill's clever through ball found Sean Moore, who finished well at the back post. At full time it finished Glenavon 0, Cliftonville 3.
So Barry, an excellent 3-0 win for the Reds. In fact, on another day, they might have won by a few more goals.
Brilliant win. Some lovely football played. The manager Chris talked at the end about making a few changes and dominating the midfield, which is good. Passing the ball through midfield, being aggressive. Games are won and lost in there, and I think it's important that kids know how important that area of the pitch is. As you move up levels, it does become vital that you win your battles in there. And Cliftonville seem to have done that today, and reap the benefits.
And that's something that you've talked about, because these are under 13 players, so instilling that at that age, that's going to benefit you by the time that the players come through the system to the under 18.
Exactly. You know, it's important to know roles. You know, if you're asked to sit in midfield, you've got to learn that, know that role. And I know as it's lower, and rightly so, kids are asked to play different positions. But come 13, 14, 15, I think they've got to find their niche. You know, what they're good at, and certainly it looks good from Chris's team there, the football they play.
Yeah, and just for me, the second goal was the goal of the day, Stephen Bradley's goal. Great footwork by him, and he looks a good prospect as well.
He does again, and he trains just before us, you know, on a Monday and Wednesday. So you get down, you see some of the kids playing, and some of the football they play is frightening in training. And to be fair, he's taking it from training onto a pitch, which is good to see. Brilliant.
Thanks, Barry. Now on to our final game this week, and it's a 5-goal thriller. Crusaders played host to Colerane's under-16s at the weekend. On commentary, it's Lord James.
Coleraine travelled to Seaview on a cloudy Friday night to take on high-flying Crusaders in the NIBFA Subway National League under-16B. The band side is in blue and white, the home side in silver and attacking the railway end. Crusaders got off to the perfect start. Jack Netherton combined with Kyle Anderson to start the offensive. Netherton weaving his way into a central position just 4 minutes into the game to slot home Donal Cullen's pass while unmarked in the box. And that was much to goalkeeper Daniel Smith's frustration. Jack Henry won a free kick for the visitors on 9 minutes, which Lee Lin stepped up to take from 25 yards out. Now, this incredible curled effort from distance is one that Lin won't get tired of watching back, and surely has to be a candidate for January's Goal of the Month. Dead ball specialist Lin almost netted a second 6 minutes later from a free kick, but instead thumped his effort off the far post. Goalkeeper Ben Nicol was on hand to smother the danger before Coleraine could pounce on a rebound. Racing to get their noses in front again, Crusaders attempted to mount a comeback, forcing James Symington to intervene on this cross, as the visiting defence made it difficult for Crusaders to keep the ball on the ground. Anderson took control, however, fighting off Jack Henry to release his shot, but Daniel Smith was on guard. Keen to exploit a frustration in the Crusaders side, Luke McCuffletrick pulsed forward and played a 1-2 with Lynn before finding the net as the flag was raised. Still level on the scoreline, but with plenty of first half chances, Owen Black started this game of pinball for Crusaders, inviting Jason McCone before Evan Kennedy took control for McCone to have a shot on target. Largely dominating territorial possession, Crusaders were winning the lion's share of midfield battles, but to be honest, little could prepare Keelan McClune for Oliver McGrath's surprise appearance, winning the ball in the air for the waiting McCone. He then served up a well-positioned McGrath, Crusaders regaining the lead on 26 minutes. With the advantage, Crusaders sought a more comfortable cushion for half-time. Black latching onto Nichols' long throw, sneaking inside briefly to find McCone along the left channel, but while he did well to curl from a tight angle toward the goal, his effort was just touched off the crossbar. With 6 minutes to go before the break, and knowing they'd allowed their hosts to get the better of them once too often, the bandsiders reacted. Punctuated by some excellent footwork from Ewan Price out wide, Lynn added power to the attack and took the reins while Price signalled for the pass, turning it past the keeper on his left foot with admirable precision. The half-time score: Crusaders 2, Coleraine 2. Now, if there are calls for video refs in the NIBFA Subway National League, this is perhaps one of them. We're not sure if Lynn got a touch to this outstanding free kick from Henry, but nobody's arguing with him as he celebrates. Behind for the first time, McGrath raced to salvage a point for Crusaders, but his valiant effort while one-on-one was no trouble for Smith. Final score: Crusaders 2, Coleraine 3.
So Barry, another of your former teams in Coleraine, and having been behind twice in that game, they'll be delighted to have taken the 3 points.
Very good. You know, showed a lot of resilience, you know, coming back. Sometimes the heads can go down, especially when you're away from home. But I know John Gregg have played against this team once already this year. He's the head of, you know, football development up there, and his teams will always play the right way. He's a very good coach, and you could see there from the Coleraine, you know, they have a lot of battling qualities. Young lad Lee Lynn looks a real top player.
Doesn't he? Let's talk about the winning goal as well. Let's have your opinion on it. Jack Henry, the free kick taker, gets my vote, but there looked to be a partial claim from his teammate Lee Lynn. You laugh.
Just think it's a bit cheeky, you know, doing it all good, all forwards do it, but do it myself, you know, say it would hit me. But unfortunately for Lee, the cameras were at that one, so he can't claim that.
Well, Coleraine are now up to third in the standings. Crusaders remain second, just a point behind the leaders, Ards. That's it for this week. Thanks, Barry, for joining us on Subway NIBFA today.
No problem.
Hope you've enjoyed your time with us.
Very good. I've enjoyed it.
Cheers. Thanks also to you for tuning in. We'll see you again in a fortnight with another studio guest poised to add their expertise. If you would like to get in touch with us, you can drop us a message on Facebook or Twitter via the NIBFA or Exporte pages. Join us again in 2 weeks' time. We'll see you then.